Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Gardening with FPJ, and this time let's go to my terrace garden so I can show you the updates of what's happening now with my small garden terrace. And let's check it out. First of all guys, I still have this tray, of course, for the nursery for the small plants that I have. And what you see right now here are garlic, and they're growing very fast, so most likely they'll be transferred into a bigger pot really soon, so I'm preparing for that. And of course, some plants that have graduated the nursery are these ones, which is the Sili and the eggplant, which are now in bigger containers. But of course, once they grow bigger, they'll be transferred to even more bigger containers so they could grow much faster. And yes, I have this calamansi plant, which is very young, but it's actually growing really good. You can see the good growth of the leaves. It's very shiny, and hopefully it will grow to a big shrub of calamansi that we'll harvest. And yes, I'll also share something here. This is uh, the mango that we harvested from the mango plant, and this one is an old CD, which actually we bought this as one of our vegetables, but since we haven't used this one, we'll actually have this planted, I mean the seeds, so you could use it and eventually it will become this one. And then yeah, so of course I still have my wandering Jew plants, which are placed in specific pots. And of course, one of the garlic is now planted into a separate container. Hopefully it will grow even more bigger with this one. I have a separate pet chai, which again, this is an experiment from a cut off, and yes, it's now growing, it's sprouting up more leaves. Now, this is another odd one from a pet chai that I've grown and transferred into this pot. It's kind of growing odd, but it's okay. Let's just keep it as it is, and hopefully it will grow to a bigger plant that will have something more stable because it branched out here, as you can see. And yeah, and of course we have the kangkong, which actually came from a seed and came from the nursery. So I already planted them in their own little pots, which I see they're growing very fast, so that's why I'm adding additional water with this one, which they actually need since they are water spinach or nga kangkong. And since my watering tabo is now cracked at the bottom, I'm now using it as a pot, so using the excess soil transferred one of the eggplants to this one. And yes, as you could also see, there's also another Sili plant that I planted in a separate container using actually a PET bottle that I cut off the top. And as you can see, it actually has now this little Sili, and it's growing really fast. I didn't expect that this one or the Sili would actually grow really fast because we just had the flowers probably just a few weeks ago, and now it's already becoming this one. It's really cute. So for the eggplant, it's still growing, so this one is probably the biggest eggplant that I have. However, I think it's sucking up a lot of nutrients, so that's why the other eggplants that are too close are getting smaller. And this one, I'm not sure if this one would survive, but let's see. Yes, so again, another graduate from the nursery. We have this eggplant. Let's see the progress of this one in the few weeks or few days. This one, I guess this was I'm not sure, but I guess it's the I'm not sure if this is the okra, but I know this is a different one. I'm sorry, I'll check it back. I'll check on my resources again just to be sure. But for now, I'll show you the best crop that I have right now. Just this Sili haba. It's almost as big as my hand now, and it's just practically new. So as you can see, it's a small pot, but this plant actually grew, and um this Sili actually grow up very fast, and it's really amazing. I don't want to harvest it for now, but let's see if it's already at the peak of its maturity. Let's harvest it now and use it in our dishes. But and actually, one other another use for the Sili plant is of course its leaves, which I could use for for cooking mongo. But since we haven't got a full harvest, so we're still buying mongo, but at least we have leaves now. Cool. And yeah, I have this one, which is the lettuce from the one that I ate. I just plucked out the leaves and planted the stem, and hopefully this one would grow into its own lettuce, which I will harvest in the future. And again, some of my old petrais, which is has been in a roller coaster ride since they are growing. They stop, they they got dehydrated, but still surviving, and hopefully they'll grow back into a more bountiful growth. Now they have their own pot with drainage. We have again our eggplants, which compared compared to this one has more leaves. It's now has bigger leaves, the biggest probably in the set. And yeah, I guess I have to transfer some of them because the middle one is not growing properly. So the other two at the both ends of this tub is growing fine, but the one in the middle is not growing as fast because it's too crowded. Same goes with this one, which is a pot, and this is the oldest eggplant that I have, but it's not growing as expected. But you would see, yeah, it's because it's overcrowded. But I don't have any additional pots, so you have to leave it as it is. And yeah, there's also another graduate there on a tin can. Let's see if it grows. We have my Sili plants in this big pot, which now has flowers. You see flowers, and eventually it will look like this one, the Sili. And yeah, over here is as you can see, they're growing. We have the pods here, and some of the pods, if they're ripe enough, I would harvest them and put them in my glass, which is this one. So this is the mango that I harvested so far. Yun yan. And yeah, there's small tomatoes at the side of this pot, but I don't know if they would survive because it's crowded already in this pot. Now let's see. And over here is the calamansi plant, which unfortunately the old calamansi plant died, and we only planted new seeds. So that's why you have these sprouts. Hopefully it will grow into a bigger calamansi plant. And yes, we still have the kangkong, which is now in a new generation, although some of the old parts or roots are still there, and it actually grew into a very fine root network underneath. That's why they're getting all of the nutrients faster. And you can see the shoots that are really green. Those are new ones. These are new kangkong sprouts, which I think it will crawl out from this one. And yes, I still have one more eggplant over here and another Sili over there. So yeah, as you can see, that's all of my plants right now, and I'm really proud because somehow we're now harvesting something, and hopefully just like this Sili, we'll have a very bountiful harvest in the future, especially with our favorites like the kangkong, the Sili, and yeah, hopefully this pecha. It's not a big space, it's just our terrace, but I got all of these plants working for me and actually providing us with more oxygen. They also give us fruits or leaves that we could use for cooking. And I'm proud of this garden. Although it's small, it actually has progress right now, and it's really pretty much better compared to the months before. Hopefully we'll actually harvest more in the future and probably provide more pots for the growing plants. So that's it, guys. That's our garden terrace for today. I'm really hoping that you got your inspiration doing urban gardening in your homes, even though you have just a little space, and it will also inspire you to, yes, create your own backyard garden with simple tools, simple pots that you could actually do it by yourself, just like this one. I just got it from a pet bottle like this one, and you could put just put holes here, put soil, and of course you put your plants, your seeds, etc. And yes, patience will always be a virtue in plants, and we will reap or harvest the fruits of our labor in the future. We're looking forward to that. And yeah, if you have your garden at home, please share it to this channel and leave a comment on what you think of this garden. If you have suggestions for improvement, you could just leave a comment, and also share this to your friends so they could also be inspired in making their own backyard garden in their homes. So for garden experiments, this has been FBJ. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, leave a comment, share it to your friends, and also don't forget to click the bell icon for more updates. So for garden experiments, this has been FBJ, and you have a great day. Bye bye.